Learning to speak up for yourself as an autistic adult is one of the hardest things that you will have to do in your life. I have been a very, very quiet person for most of my life. I would say coming into my fourth decade of life, this is where I am actually finally finding my voice. And that means that most of my life I have been the quiet one, the silent one, kind of sitting in the background, watching everybody else do the talking for me. So it's really, really difficult because you have to learn how to become this person who can speak for themselves. And you have to be able to know that it's okay to make mistakes in conversations. And sometimes you're going to say something and then you're going to be like, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't quite right. But please don't make that shut down your voice. Please never do shut down your voice, because that's one of the things that is really, really difficult about, probably one of the hardest things about realizing, you know, myself as an autistic adult and trying to become kind of somebody who speaks up for myself. Sometimes you feel like you're a frustration for people because you're kind of learning how to communicate with people where you used to kind of just sit down and say nothing. And that's the easiest thing to do. It really is the easiest thing to do. But it's not the best thing to do because you lose your voice. And one of the things that I've learned kind of growing up in that way is that being silent was my safety for me. It kept me safe because whenever I spoke up, I always kind of felt like it was never good enough for other people, and they always wanted to kind of, they wanted me to listen rather than to speak. And I think learning about how to find my voice and how to actually speak has been a massive, massive learning curve, because when you're quiet, people expect you to be quiet. When you find your voice, when you start speaking up, when you start being strong enough to do it, people are really shocked and they're kind of surprised, and you're not going to communicate very well at first, and that's okay too. That's okay. This is a learning curve. This is absolutely a learning curve. So just remember that being silent is never going to be the best course of action for you, because you really need to find your voice, and finding your voice is one of the best things you can ever do for yourself. So yeah, I think learning to speak up for yourself is one of the hardest, yet one of the most rewarding things you can do as an autistic person, because I think we're so afraid to speak up. We don't want people to judge us or think that we're saying the wrong thing, or, we've often been told, oh no, that's not good enough, and you just want to learn that it is good enough. Whatever you say is good enough. And, speak. This video, I keep thinking, well, I'm losing my place, I'm losing where I'm going, and things like that. And I could just stop speaking. I could just stop sharing and say, well, okay, I'll go back to being silent. But I can't. I can't do it because I know that there is a cost to being silent. There's a cost to losing your voice. And I always used to love the film The Little Mermaid when I was younger. And I think there was some kind of resonance with a woman who loses her voice and isn't able to communicate with the world outside. And she has to find ways to communicate in throughout the film, and and then finally she gets her voice back. Um, and it just, I think there was just something about that film that I really loved. And I think the reason is because I was this little child who didn't know how to get that voice from me, inside me, all the things I wanted to say. I didn't know how to put it out there to the world. I had no clue how to do that. And I was always stuck inside my own head. And finding my voice has been the greatest part of my life. Being able to speak, even if I make mistakes, even if people don't like what I have to say, just being able to get out there and make myself say things, it has been just incredible. And once you find it, wow, you're gonna just constantly want to talk and tell people all about things because you've been inside this world, inside your head for so long, listening to everybody else and kind of absorbing the world around you, that when you finally do speak, you have something to say.